and there goes Peter Flanner already overtaking Andrew Korstecki up the hill. Whoa, in the back there is a slide off. I hope everyone's okay. No, they're not okay. There is some damage in the back of the field. There are people getting through it. No, they are not. That's AJ going through. There goes Eric Rodriguez side by side with Charles Lee. And that Goodwrench livery just ahead of him. Might try to make a move down the inside. Here he goes. And look at Jacob Simmons overtakes 2 of them down the main straight, down the inside on Will Coffey, and he makes that position stick, and he gets ahead. The inside line he goes, he snaps in there, and he makes it stick. Might have spoken too soon, but he's got the defensive line going to the next corner. And he's kept it on. We still don't know anyone else is going to have a better overcut. Whoa, and there goes Peter Flanner through. And look at that. Jacob Simmons is also making the move. Andrew Kirk loses 2 positions. And is this the moment he goes for? It is a start-straight finish. And there he goes, side by side. He's going to make it work. Steve McAllister not defending. And there he goes. Looks like he's going to try to go side by side into this next braking zone and make it stick. There he goes. And we've seen him on the outs of a battle. Nowhere to go. Drivers ahead of him. And Eric Rodriguez holding that position behind. And look at that. Tyler Finley goes through. And now he's going to be battling out Zachary Bright for position. Oh, no, he slots back in. And we are 2 by 2. Patrick Gannon trying to take the lead of the race already, and he goes for it. The top already, and there it was. The move is done. But P14, Eddie Layton in the Mercedes. Oh! Tyler Anderson going for the inside move. Ooh. Plenty of space is given, though. And that allows Tyler Anderson to go through. And Chad Nobles is in through. No, they are still side by side going into the next corner. And wow, they are very close, but still given enough room. But I don't think Angel is done just yet. They are going side by side into the next corner. Anderson wasn't done yet. Anderson retaking that position. And now look at that. Mathis, LePage is getting by. And they are now side by side. Is Mathis going to have this? No, and look at that. Eddie Layton is about to overtake Mathis for this position. This is a heated battle here in the teens here. That's, very close margins, but Eddie Layton overtakes Mathis. Looks like he's going to have to be defending against Timothy Bray. And Timothy Bray on the outside. They still both have room. He goes way off. And Timothy Bray and Peter Flanner are battling it out. And Timothy Bray gets ahead on an outlap as well. Just before the braking zone. Peter Flanner was about half a second. Oh no! Oh no! Move into turn 2. Nope, he's slotted right next to him. Side by side they go. Nicholas Matcham gives him the space, and he goes through. Tyler Finley making the move. So Noah's going to have to go the long way around. Is he going to be able to maintain it? They go side by side, and oh, that's perfect. He gets a great exit there from Noah, or from Andrew Korstecki. They're still side by side as it looks out. No, he's not side by side anymore. And just there in the background, you can see, oh, they are still side by side. The camera plays tricks, and there he goes. Finally gets that car right in front, and P. Welcome everybody to the Broken Wing Racing League. The GT3 Sunday night race is about to be underway. We're just ending practice. This is brought to you by presented by ANSE3D. We're here at Virginia International Raceway, where Elliott Burton, who is P1 in the championship right now, with Matt Shack just behind, trailing behind by just a couple hundred points. And then we have Joshua Grosso in P3 in that overall championship. It'll be interesting to see what happened here. Matt Shack has a 144.006, and Elliott Burton's best in practice was a 144.212. I will finish this race simply by missing the race. That's a good way to, and then steer. Is that a team? Not sure. But we're just about finished with practice, and we'll get to our 10-minute qualifying here with 30 seconds to go. And I'm just hoping everything's going to go smoothly. It looks like there's a few wrinkles on some of these corners, a bit of a frame drop issue, but I don't think it's too noticeable. And there you have it. Joshua Grosso, who's sitting P3 in the championship, did a 144.4, putting him into P4 in the practice session with Diego Erie Error. I'm gonna get that one of these days. Car number 770 is P3 in practice. Be interesting to see what happens here as everyone is about to go. Sessions changed over. See what happens. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be one of those Eric Rodriguez, maybe? No, it is not. Lee Burton leaves. Diego's just behind him. Then we get to play who's in the lead. And that is gonna be Matt Shack, going for the open air. Ray Mistack just behind. Zachary Bryant in the mix with Elliott, Burton, and Diego. All these fast drivers opting to go as quick as possible out to start this race. Team Matt Shack, yeah. Different liveries for these two drivers, though. Try to have some uniformity with the teams and their liveries. Like Zachary Bryant and his teammate Nicholas Matcham. Well, I'm not sure is actually even in this race right now. Nicholas Matcham is in this race. And also presenting for the first time is an actual predicted lap time. Got a new feature on this old timing screen. I'm going to see if I can't be a little bit more accurate in my description of whether or not a driver is really improving upon his time. Previously, I was using a very great timing statistic for that. And we'll go on board with Matt Shack, as he is going to be the first driver to put in his first time lap, but also just see what P2 in the championship is doing. Also has won a couple of championships, so we'll jump on board. Smooth criminal match hack. Absolutely. We have 26 drivers on the grid here at VIR, so it should be a pretty spicy race. Hopefully everyone takes this cleanly like the last one. Also, it was very clean until I made some comments that it might not have been. This corner, definitely a popular corner for overtaking, so we're definitely going to be seeing some action happen before they enter that braking zone. On power. He's across the line in P1 provisionally, and let's see if he can't maintain that. It's Trey Mistak comes across the line. The 144.6. Diego just behind is a 144.6. Joshua Grasso overtakes Diego and Trey with a 144.3. Elliot Burton, who's sitting P1 in the championship, just did a 145.2. Andrew Lewis beats him out by that, by just 0.2. Peter Flanner, another fast guy, and a hopeful from last season, or it's just this season, but last season, I think, was P2 in the championship. He's now P4 right now. Tyler Finley crossed the line in P8. Ryan Avila in P9, Colin Luckhurst in P10, Craig Carroll in P11, Eddie Layton in P12, Zachary Bryan in P13, Brendan Renfro in 14, Nicholas Matcham in P15, David Gauntlet in P16. We have Will Coffey in P17 right now. It will be interesting to see what happens here. He's going up through the S's here. Predicted to do something really spicy. 145. Back to mixed on that. No, don't. It's Elliot Burton here. Elliot Burton is about to be crossing the line, and he does well. He's sitting P7, but crossing the line, he can go to P2 without a doubt. Hey, and my algorithm's working this time. Elliot Burton is in P2 with that across the line. Tyler Finley, Andrew Lewis went to P7, but then dropped down by Tyler Finley. We still have Trey Mistak. His last was a 144.4. Really just needs to kind of squeeze out 0.2, and that would really put him ahead into P2. They're only separated by 200 right now. Jacob Simmons goes to P10. Ryan Avila to P7. And we'll just get a little bit on board here as the grid has shaken up just a little bit so far. There's Chris Chitterling in P12, Will Coffey in P13, Zachary Reardon in... He drops down one to P21. AJ Condola to P22. And it's still possible for Trey Mistak to make up some time here, maybe through the final corner. If he doesn't, no, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to improve upon this time. And he will not improve upon that time. But someone who will improve upon their time is Chris Chitterling. He's going faster than his last lap. He could do a 144.8 here across the line. This will put him from P12 to P9, I believe. Okay. He went up one position with a P11. And we still have 2 minutes left on the clock. Kind of curious to see if anyone's going to try to overtake Matt Shack for that P1 position. So he did a 144.2. Elliot Burton did a 144.2. Separated by thousandths of a second. You know, it was a 2.49 for Matt and a 2.71 for Elliot. And I mean, just the finest of margins for these two drivers as Eric Rodriguez goes up one position there. The P21. Jacob Simmons to P10. Any other... Craig Carroll moves up a couple positions to P13. Oh. Well, I don't think that's going to be an improvement on Matt Shack's time. And we have Noah Hoskinson and Gary Schilling, the only two drivers right now on the grid that have not set a time. And Andrew Lewis, who's sitting P3. It's possible he might be able to improve upon his time right now. He did a 144.3, and right now he's predicted to do a 144.8. Well, with 2 sectors to go, can he cut that time and possibly get ahead of Elliott Burton for qualifying? As we only have 42 seconds left to go. And as always, if you are new to the stream, the horizontal standings up above is the last lap. If it's green, it means they've improved upon their personal best. And if it's gray, it means they haven't. And if it's purple, it means that driver is the fastest driver on the track with the fastest time. And Eric Rodriguez goes across the line, and he takes another spot. And there's Brandon Redfo. He actually goes up a couple positions to P17, and he is done. Craig Carroll trying to look to make one more go out of it. Or I think he actually might have been across the line before it happened. But I guess we'll see. Peter Flanner, who's sitting P8. Kind of wondering if he's going to be able to improve upon this time here. He did a 144.6, and right now it looks like he's doing a 144.8. And he has not improved upon his time. We have Trey Mistak here, who is looking to do so. He's actually up on his time right now. He did a 144.4, almost a 144.5, and now he's doing a 144.2. He actually just gained 2/10 through the final corners there. And for Trey Mistak, this could be a huge opportunity to be even one more row ahead to P3, P5 to P3 for Trey Mistak. That worked out for him, as we have Chris Schitterling also making a good move, and he went to P9. Couple positions gained for him. Not sure if Peter Flanner had the time to go across the line to make one more move of this, but if he did, that'll be very interesting to see if he actually has the chance to do so. But no, I don't. He's actually not improving at this moment, and he might be the only driver on the grid. Oh, we have Elliott Burton in P2. Maybe he's just getting some practice in, but I don't think this lap is going to do anything to get to that top spot. He's already on the front row, so maybe more practice before this thing starts. And with 24 drivers setting a time on the grid, one not. That is Matt Shack in P1, Elliott Burton in P2, Trey Mistak in P3, Andrew Lewis in P4, Joshua Grasso in P5. Oh. Diego in P6. Diego in P6, Ryan Avila in P7, Peter Flanner in P8, Chris Chitterling in P9, Colin Luckers in P10, Jacob Simmons P11, Tyler Finley in P12, Craig Carroll in P13, P14 is Will Coffey, Chris Lambeth in P15, Eddie Layton in P16, Brandon Renfro in 17, Zachary Bryant in 18, Zachary Reardon in 19. The Battle of the Zacharies. Who's going to win that one? Eric Rodriguez in P20, Nicholas Matchman 21, David Gauntlet in P22, AJ Condola in P23, Charles Whedon in P24, Noah Hoskinson in 25, and Gary Schilling in P26. Should be an exciting race, folks. We have what I could probably say is one of the most exciting things that happened last race at Watkins Glen was these two drivers of Eddie Layton and Chris Lambeth really putting on a masterclass battling each other of racecraft. Just purely awesome, fair racing. We take a different approach at the start of this race and maybe go for like somebody in the mid pack that can kind of get a good view of what's happening. Maybe end up seeing something a little mischievous happen in turn one. Not sure. Well, maybe the chopper will do the job there. But rest assured, after the first couple laps, things will get tidied up as we are safety cars moving along this race. And the accordion effect is about to start. And Matt Chak has the inside line going into turn one, so I think this is going to really favor him at the start of this race as we're about to get going.
Green, green, green.
Ooh. And Elliot Burton slotting in already on the right side, taking that inside line as Andrew Lewis has looked like to go make a move against Trey Mistak, and it looks like he's actually got it going. They're going to be side by side going to the next couple corners here, but Trey Mistak is already ahead. That puts Andrew into a really difficult spot. He had to brake a little bit more. And just behind, there goes Diego, or Chris Chitterling, side by side with Peter Flanner, and he goes ahead from one position gained for Chris Chitterling. Peter Flanner already down one. And then just behind, Colin Luckhurst is also in that same position. He's in front right now. Oh, wait. No, it's Jacob Simmons that's in that position. Two drivers behind him, Will Coffey and Tyler Finley, going side by side through the S's. That is not advisable, but they did it anyway. And everyone else making out clean. And Joshua Grosso and Andrew Lewis are going to be battling each other out down that straight. And no, it looks like he's fine there. Ryan Avila has a really good toe from Andrew Lewis, but it's not enough going into this braking zone. I think it's going to stack up. Yep. Joshua's still going to be good there, but they're almost side by side again through the next corner. And he's safe for now. But there goes Diego making a move on Ryan Avila. And this is all Porsche on Porsche violence right now. I haven't seen anybody, any other manufacturers on the grid having these issues. Besides, no move done in the first corner. Tyler Finley, it looks like he made one position off of Eddie Layton. He's already up to P13, P14. And Matt Shack and Elliot Burton. Oh man, that's a... They have swapped places, and I'm not sure when that was. It's been one lap, but the rest of the top of the grid is doing just fine. No positions have changed just yet. And kind of a really nicely spread formation there, as Colin Luckhurst doesn't have that same luxury. He's got Jacob Simmons and Will Coffey right on his tail, just a couple tenths back from him. He's really leading a little train of 4 with Chris Chitterling there in the, or Tyler Finley, the last one of that. Is a move going to be made? Jacob Simmons does not make a move. And the order is Elliot Burton, Matt Shack, Trey Mistack in the green Porsche, Andrew Lewis in P4, Joshua Grasso in P5, Ryan Avila in that blue Porsche. Also in P6, Diego in the black and gold in P7, Chris Chitterling in P8. A very tight-knit group of people. Peter Flanders just behind by 1.4 seconds to that group, and it doesn't really show on track, but he is 1.4 behind P8 there. Kind of on his own little spot there. Colin Luckhurst is 1.3 behind him. He's got about a second gap to everybody, and you can clearly see that now on track. As we're about to be going into lap 4, not a whole lot of change in the order. Chris Chitterling, as close as he's ever been to Diego right now, 2 tenths, 3 tenths. Not far, not close enough to make a move just yet, but we'll definitely see something happening here out of the Ferrari. And another driver in the BMW, Jacob Simmons, really crawling on the back of Colin Luckhurst there. But so far, we've seen a lot of drivers getting really close, but not making any moves. And the BMW has a really different in-car cam, not as exploratory as some of the other views that we might have gotten. Nope, is that the time? No, he just makes a bit of a sniff there, but does not make a move. The world's most handsome sim racer, twitch.tv/Jacob_Simmons. I think that was a 5 at the end of that. So go out and check out his channel. Yeah, that was a 5. And please no punt him. Very, very strong words on the livery. As I think he's finally making a move down the inside line. Oh, it looks like he's not quite there, but he is. Now they're side by side going to the next corner. Is Diego... Oh, he's just gone ahead of Diego. Or, sorry, Colin Luckhurst. All these Porsches look alike to me right now. And does that mean Will Coffey is going to try to make a move as well? But one thing I can say for certain is when a driver gets passed once, it kind of bodes with the confidence and they lose a couple positions. But no, I don't think Will is going to have that luxury. I think Colin's composure is really strong right now. As he definitely just got it into turn once. We knew that was going to be a move for a lot of drivers. Now looking at this, Andrew Lewis is on the back, and they're all separated by 0.2, with Elliot Burton in P1 got a 0.6 gap to Matt Shack, but I mean, you can see there is no change here as Andrew Lewis looks to make a move but doesn't. It was a very popular move in ESS to go down that way, but I have yet to see a driver make a move there. Besides that, they have gone side by side, but no one's actually made the pass stick. As it stands, Andrew Lewis just lost himself a little bit of time there. Joshua Grosso's right there on the tail. Oh! And we'll just pull that back slightly. I wonder what happened there. Chris Lambeth. Oh, oh. That was all speed there, folks. And that was... I'm not sure who that was. Well... Is that Eddie Layton, maybe? And somebody had a little moment there. It's difficult to say. Wasn't David Gauntlet. It was Brandon Renfro going side by side with the DHL of Zachary Reardon. And maybe Zachary's going to go back at him. So he passes him once, lets him by, and then goes side by side into the braking zone. He makes the move. Zachary Reardon in the DHL BMW. What a move. Lets him have it on the straight and passes him right back into the braking zone. That is fantastic racing out of that driver. Now closer than ever. We have Matt Shack finally on the heels of Elliot Burton. And Andrew Lewis finally reeling in Trey Mistak again, where he lost a little bit of time. And Joshua Grosso trying to catch back up to that. We have Diego Air in P7 with Ryan Avila in P8. Chris Chitterling just behind. Very close, but still nothing's happening there. And Peter Flanner in P9. Jacob Simmons in P10. Oh. You can just see the line is slightly different for some of these drivers. And I just don't know what to say about Elliot Burton's straight line speed here. He's just pulling a gap every time they go through that straight, but then he loses it in the braking zone ever so slightly by 0.2. And is it going to happen again? Is he going to pull away as he did last time? He's setting himself up for the perfect line into turn 1, and look at that. Matt Scheck just gets right on the heels of him again. But where does like the gap actually pull? And still, he's right there. I think this time is the first time Matt Scheck has really just kept it right there on his bumper. No, it's just a little bit of a difference in how they're entering in that corner, and there's the 2/10 that he lost. And really attacking the corner in the apex there. He's still 4/10 away, and he's going to slightly go to 5 on this straight. You can see he's just not getting closer. It's so slow and marginal, and by the time he finally gets a little bit closer to him, it's through the braking zone. And this is going to be a difficult race for Matt Scheck if that's what he has to contend with. Just a driver who can really just maintain that straight line speed with those two massive straights. I think Elliott Burton's going to really just keep Matt at bay. And just behind, we have Chris Chitterling making the move on Ryan Avila. Is Ryan Avila going to try to make a move back? Looks like Chris Chitterling's going to stay, not even defensive. Just didn't he even have to make a defensive move to hold the position? Ryan Avila's just going to sit behind him now. Maybe try to make a move at a later point if he can keep up. Oh, and we have Gary Schilling off the track there. Curious. We have David Gauntlet in P22, AJ Condola in P21. Let's match him. Eddie Layton. Eric Rodriguez, kind of in a race of his own right now. He's about 7/10 closer to Brandon Renfro. Zachary Reardon, who made that move earlier, is still holding the position, but these two drivers are really close in terms of pace, lap by lap. And Zachary Bryant just ahead of Zachary Reardon. Craig Carroll in P14. Tyler Finley in P13. P12 is Will Coffey. Colin Luckhurst in P11. Jacob Simmons in P10. And Peter Flander in P9. Ryan Avila still a little not closer now. But what we do have is Chris Schitterling maybe making a move on Diego for P6. And Diego is on full defense. Took a really extremely defensive line. Not extremely, it's just the defensive line to do into turn 1. And he holds on to the position, but for how much longer? It looks like Chris is definitely has the momentum. Already passed one. Can he pass another? And he did have a little bit of a slip up, which might give Ryan Avila a little bit of a sniff. Go for an overtake, but through these sharp corners, it is not advisable to do such a thing here, but you're brave enough. And the top 5 Siege is clearly ahead. Also packed up and bunched. Similar pace. You have Diego, Chris, and Ryan Avila. Peter Flander, Jacob Simmons also on the similar pace. So the top 10 is really just folded into two separate zones. They're all doing 145s, but in terms of the gap that formed through the battles, they've just maintained that. Joshua Grosso is about 5 seconds ahead. Diego's not chunking away at Joshua Grosso's timing sheets there. And here it is again. Is he going to make the move? No, he doesn't. Back on board with Matt Shack, who's only separated by 1/10 from Elliott Burton. A similar thing we've seen before, and it's happened lap after lap. They were really just on similar pace through each one of these corners, except that is the difference there. I think Elliott Burton just is a little bit braver staying out there later on that corner. And it may prove useful. Ooh. What happened here? And we're going to pull that back just slightly. Andrew Lewis. Just... Ooh! Good save by Joshua Grosso to get out of the grass there. And you can clearly see that was all curb. He has taxed the apex and unsettles the car entirely, and that was done. Loses position for that. Now he's having to battle with Colin Luckhurst. And Matt Shack goes into the pit lane already, halfway through this race. 12 laps down. And Trey Mistak takes P2 with Matt doing that. Andrew Lewis to P9, which is really like P10. He's going to have to fight for that. Craig Carroll crossing the line now. Brandon Renfro is still 1/10 separating from Zachary Reardon. So, and Matt Shack rejoins the track just behind AJ Gondola in P20. The gap from Matt Shack to the leader right now is 35 seconds. And we have Eddie Layton, who's also made the move to go on to pit early. Oop. Make that a little change there. Will the undercut work, Metal? That is the thought there. Joshua Grosso goes into the pit lane now. And all these drivers are going to catch up on that. Trey Mistak, you know, that's one of the interesting things is Trey Mistak has a lot of pace. He's shown that in qualifying. He showed that in practice. And Trey Mistak is now only 4/10 separating him from Elliott Burton. When he was pulled away from having drivers ahead of him, he was really able to just reel in the leader, which really goes to show you Trey Mistak is also in the contention for P1. And I could say with certainty the gap to P1, 35 seconds, 0.2 for Matt Shack. It's really going to be interesting to see if he can't make that undercut work. Hasn't really had to struggle around other cars so far. He's gotten pretty decent air. He does have Nicholas Matcham ahead of him. Nicholas Matcham did a 147 last lap, and Matt Shack did a 148.1. So he did have to overtake AJ Condola, so that could attribute to why his lap time was a little bit slower. Not sure if we'll see a change actually this lap, and actually we might actually see that. There goes Nicholas Matcham, a little squirrely on exit, hitting that curbing. And Diego goes into the pit lane, and Chris Chitterling's going to be left open for that. And Diego was P7. It's really going to come down to how much time do they save on fuel. And there goes Nicholas Matcham in the pit lane. Doesn't make it hard for Matt Shack now. He's got some more clean air to make some moves. He already goes back to P16. So now, AJ Condola, the driver behind him, is one of the few drivers that hasn't gone in the pit lane just yet. He's got a full grid of 15 drivers ahead of him that have not made the move just yet. And there goes Peter Flanner on Ryan Avila, side by side, but not for long. The Mercedes beats out that Porsche into the turn. And there goes Peter Flanner to P5. And Elliot Burton still staying out. Trey Mistack still out. Ryan Avila decides to go in. That's an interesting strategy. And Matt Shack, P2 in the race, went for the undercut. I mean, it's a bold strategy. He's 34.6 seconds away from the race leader right now. That is the gap. So as he pulls down that gap, we could possibly see the undercut work. Just another second out of this might be the trick. He's got Joshua Grosso behind him in P16. Matt Shack was ahead of Joshua Grosso, but Joshua Grosso was P4 or 5 when he went to pit. Oh, and these three drivers might make a big difference here. So when I was saying Matt Shack had a 148, this round, or this lap, or his last lap was a 145.4. The drivers ahead of him are all doing 147s. Brandon Renfro did a 146. So that's Eric Rodriguez, Brandon Renfro, and Zachary Reardon ahead. And he's got to get past three drivers, all with their pace so similar to each other, but not to him. He's got a 1.5 second gap to these drivers on the last lap. It's going to be difficult for him to now make the undercut work if he can't get past these drivers quicker. And Trey Misek has gone in. Chris Chitterling has gone in. Chris Chitterling just getting to his box. Andrew Lewis just getting to his box. Elliot Burton staying out. Will Coffey stays out. Trey Mistek. And where's that? Matt Shack is crossing the line now. Two of those drivers went in. So he's only got Eric Rodriguez ahead of him right now. And that is going to be a defining factor. Look at that. Trey Mistek's already on the back of Matt Shack. And up goes Matt to P8. He's still got Eric Rodriguez, who's now P1 through 7 have not gone in the pit lane. And this is what's devastating for this undercut, is throughout with traffic doesn't help your chances. That 34.4 second gap that he was really gaining when he hit those 3 drivers ahead of him, it's completely gone. He's got now a 37 second gap to Elliott Burton, completely foiling his chances. But maybe I'm wrong. And on board with Trey Mistak on his outlap, just behind Matt Shack by 0.2. Now 3. Is he going to see a move from Matt here? No, he is not. Look at that. They go through another corner together. Everybody's gone in the pit lane, including Elliott Burton here. Matt Shack ahead. Eric Rodriguez went out. Elliott Burton is fully out. Oh, and a little bit foiled there. Matt Shack goes back to P2, but there's now a 1 second gap. Joshua Grasso, I think, making out ahead here as he is P4 ahead of a couple of drivers. So the undercut worked for him, but it did not work for Matt, unfortunately. And there's Jacob Simmons just ahead of Peter Flanner. They were battling it out for that corner, but looks like Jacob was able to keep ahead there. Andrew Lewis making up some positions. He was already in the top 5, but now he's P6 at the moment after having that little spin. So he's definitely doing a great recovery of a race. And wow, look at that. That full second gap is, it's dropped down just to half a second. And on board with Trey Missak, and having a good view of the drivers ahead of him, Elliott Burton and Matt Shack. Still, Elliott Burton has not had to make a change to his driving right now. Yes, Matt is getting really close to him in these corners, braking zones. But Elliott is able to just maintain P1 with some great straight line speed. That's where he really pulls away from Matt Shack. He's a little bit braver on the brakes going into one of the corners up here. I think that's also contributing to a little bit of a change in there between these two. And we're just going to jump on board with Matt Shack, and I believe right here is where it really makes a difference. They go through these fast corners together, but then you can see the brakes on Elliott Burton a little different. Matt's clearly going a little bit earlier, I think. And then definitely has a really good entry and exit over Elliott Burton through those corners. And that's how he's able to stay alongside him. But look at that. He's separated by 0.2. He should be getting a massive tow here. And he is just not going to be able to do anything if he stepped out. Ooh, and Matt Shack, knowing the full limit of his car and where his front end is to Elliott Burton's back end, that's very close. Or at least it looks close. You're inside the cockpit there. And this track just clearly looks to favor the Mercedes down the straight line. And as long as he's parking his car in the right spots through these corners, it doesn't really have to do much more. We have a battle for P16 and 17. Here's Chris Lambeth is only separated by 2/10 from Eric Rodriguez. They're about to be going down the main straight. Let's see if Chris Lambeth is going to just stay behind him or make a move. I think it was a little driver IQ there from Eric Rodriguez. He snaps a little towards the middle, but not a full-on defense, and jumps right back in the line, thinking maybe Chris Lambeth might try to make a move. It was subtle, I think, on that one. Now we know the Mercedes is good in the straight line. The BMW seems to be also, because these two are battling it out. Peter Flanner has gotten past through that corner, but not this time. Now, is this one of those moments? No. It's just an odd thing with these Porsches. They're just not able to gain anything off of the straights. Back on board, we're going to see Matt Shack try to follow the leader. I think it's also important to note that while they're battling on track right now for P1 and 2, Elliot Burton and Matt Shack are P1 and 2 in the championship right now. Elliot Burton just 100 points or so ahead. And Joshua Grosso sitting in P3 in the championship, P4 in the race. Team Shake Stack or Shack Stack. Is it one of those two? I think it's one. Doing pretty well as a team, P2 and 3 at the moment. I'm not sure if they're still even a team, so I shouldn't go on that assumption, but they were a team once. Maybe they still are. I don't see any other, you know, what is it, that dinosaur, yeah, it's definitely a dinosaur livery of like the teeth and everything. It's like a little tiny T-Rex arms on the side of the doors there. And just popping around here. So we're going to take a look. And Chris Chitterling had a little bit of a spin. Lost position. Andrew Lewis and him battling for P5. Ooh. And just loses it. And then from P6, P5, P6, he's now down to P11 off that mistake. And look at this. 3/10 separating these drivers. You can't really see it. Like, just, there's no real reeling. Oh, there goes Chris Lambeth on the outside of Eric Rodriguez. And take a look back at that. Oh, this happened way before that. Oh, Eric Rodriguez got a little on the outs there going into that corner. And Chris Lambert takes him on the inside and makes it stick. Not in a team this year. Okay, not in a team. That makes sense. Not the same livery. They were sporting the same livery at one point. Colin Luckhurst making a move on AJ Condola. And a move we haven't seen that often in this race is down into that corner. I see it a lot in ESS. I mean, in ESS, it's almost a given. And Ryan Avila, ooh, what happened here? Hitting off its braking points just fine, but nope. And yeah, just down a couple positions off of that. And slightly drivers we haven't seen often, but their race has been going pretty well. Tyler Finley has been holding on to P13 in that Goodwrench livery, in that Ferrari, and then Craig Carroll in the Porsche, that blue Porsche. He's sitting in P12 right now. He's just held good position this entire race. Chris Schierling having a little mistake happen, and that drops him back, and so now he's just got two drivers getting kind of reeling him in. If it's going to happen, this is when it's going to happen. This is the closest these two have ever been, separated by 1/10 on the straightaway, and no, nothing. He's really just got to have to wait for Elliott to make a mistake. It seems like that's the only way this is going to shake out, with just the massive straight line speed difference there of these two drivers, where most drivers are making their overtakes happen is on the straights. Eddie Layton just making a move on Zachary Bryant right there. Colin Luckhurst goes by, makes a position. Chris Lambert drops down. Chris Lambert is actually in the pits. He had to pit early, so this might just be a fuel issue that's happening here, as Nicholas Matching also goes by. And if we're going to go with the Battle of the Zacharys here, we have Zachary Bryant just ahead of Zachary Reardon. I think Zachary Reardon might have retired. That's unfortunate if he did. Yeah, and to the looks of it, there's two cars in the pit lane. And the closest drivers after the shakeup of the pit stops is these three drivers are the closest that any drivers are right now on track. Everyone else having a bit of a reprieve from the action at the start, with only a couple laps to go. I think one, maybe two. We might see this just end just like this. Joshua Brasso in P4, Andrew Lewis in P5, Jacob Simmons in P6, Peter Flander in P7. It's Diego by himself as well. 5-second gap in front of him, 3 behind. Will Coffey in P9 there. Brian Avila also just kind of in his own. Chris Shearling keeps a little gap to Craig Carroll and Tyler Finley. And you have Eddie Layton in 14, Zachary Bryan in 15, Eric Rodriguez. Just got a little gap there to Brian Renfro. Colin Luckhurst is right there behind AJ Condola, also just sporting a kind of a big gap here. Nicholas Matcham, another one. Chris Lambeth and David Gauntlet also feeling that same stuff. As here they go down the main straight. This is the time Elliott Burton is finally getting defensive. Is this the moment that Matt Shack makes the move? He stays pretty confident on the outside, but is it going to be enough for the next couple corners? He's still there. Matt Shack's going to have it going into the next one. Oh, there he goes. Matt Shack is taking the lead of this race, and there goes Elliott Burton dropping back to P2. Trey Misek now all over him. And look at that. Matt Shack's already pulling away by 0.6. And to think I thought it was over. It looked like he just had it. And there goes Joshua Grosso. He's got Andrew Lewis all over him. These imaginary gaps that were formed just by his pace alone, everyone's kind of coming back together. No one makes a move there. It's Joshua Grosso safe from Andrew Lewis right now, who's clawed his way back from P11 off of a mistake. And there he goes. Andrew Lewis on the inside. Not able to make it stick. And you can't do much there. And there's the white flag. So we're going to have one lap of racing left. And Andrew Lewis, while closer, not able to make anything happen on the turn one there. And the championship may be switching hands here from Elliott Burton to Matt Shack off this one win. The points difference is pretty major from P1 to 2. There's Joshua Grosso of Narwhal Racing. Still ahead, but this has got to be somewhat eventful for him. A little stress-inducing. He's got one lap to go. One sector to go. And he's just got to keep Andrew Lewis behind down this straight. And there he goes to make a slip. Oh, he's finally going to do it. Is it going to be enough? Oh, no! And he spins. Yikes. Matt Shack is going to take victory here at Virginia International Raceway. That is a P1 for him. P2 for Elliott Burton, and P3 for Trey Mistak. Joshua Grosso is going to cross the line and keep P4. Jacob Simmons crossing the line to take P5. Peter Flanner is going to take P6. Diego is going to take P7. Andrew Lewis is going to take P8. And Will Coffey P9. He's risking it for the biscuit, and it didn't work out for him, though. Ryan Avila is P10. Chris Chitterling is P11. Craig Carroll is P12. Tyler Finley 13. Eddie Layton is going to be crossing the line and going to be P14. Zachary Bryant, as long as he keeps that on track, he's going to be P15. Eric Rodriguez and Brian Renfro look to be battling out at the end of this race. Is it possible he gets him? Eric Rodriguez could take P16 right now, but that's barring Brandon Renfro doesn't make a move down the straight and make it stick. doesn't. That's P17 for Brandon Renfro, P18 for Colin Luckhurst. AJ Condola is going to take P19 there. Nicholas Matcham is going to have P20. Chris Lambeth is going to P21. And then we have David Gauntlet. The last of the drivers is going to be P22. Charles Whedon is P23. Zachary Bryant is 24. Noah Hoskinson was P25. And Zachary Schilling was P26. And David Gauntlet holding it out there. All right, crosses the line to finish the race. And that is all the drivers on track that have finished. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to miss the next Sunday's race. It'll be round 6. And come join us on the Discord. Or we also have we have a multi-class on Tuesdays. So hopefully you go there and check it out. Got some of these drivers that are actually stayed out there on track. That was Elliot Burton and I'm not sure who that was, but thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.